Good morning from AlphaCars. My name is Tom, coming to you from our Northampton location, and today we're going to be taking a look at this 2018 Mercedes-Benz E400 wagon. This E400 is currently showing just over 34,000 original miles, and if you would like to see a high-resolution detailed photo set, please reference the listing at alphacars.com. There, of course, you will also find a free included Carfax report alongside a long list of technical data related to the vehicle's remaining tire and brake life, as well as individual readings from each panel using our paint depth gauge. But today I'll be taking you on a quick condition overview around both the interior and the exterior of the C400 and showing you some of the features that make it so interesting. Now, of course, starting here in the exterior, we'll find it finished in a beautiful, just straight piano black paint scheme. Not a whole lot of metallic to talk about in the paint, but it has a really elegant look, and I think it accentuates the styling cues on the E400 very nicely, especially the contrast that's promoted by not only the wheels, but all of this semi-gloss chrome trim across the roof and on the window surrounds. Taking a look at these wheels, they are 18-inch 5-spoke wheels with that dual finish of piano black and the machined finish on the outer facing parts of the wheel. Looks very nice, and those black and silver Mercedes-Benz emblems do add to that contrast nicely. You can see the tires in nice shape as well, with some big brakes here in the rear, no curb rash to report in the back, and the same goes for the front. We have even larger brakes hiding behind those wheels and those nice big silver calipers to add to that contrast. You'll see those rotors are drilled for better cooling. As usual, I'll take you really close to the panel so as to look for any dings, dents, or scratching, any irregularities in the way the light reflects off the panel. And as I make my way past the rear door onto the quarter panel, I don't notice any major imperfections to note here. Making our way to the front fascia, you'll see the headlights, crystal clear lenses, no oxidation, discoloration, or scratching. Some nice LED technology in there, adding to the styling of the vehicle. You can see as I unlock the car, those lights flashing inside the headlight. Those LED daytime running lights looking really nice. Looking at the front grille, you do have a nice contrast with that silver matching the chrome splitter panel here at the front. That also plays nicely with the chrome inside the headlights. Large Mercedes-Benz emblem right there in the front, as well as the dark trim version there on the hood. And you'll see the front bumper cover is in great condition all the way across. Making our way here to the passenger side of the vehicle, we find another wheel in great condition. And we'll make our way to the back, looking really close at these panels. As we make our way to the rear of the vehicle, it all looks nice here to my eye on the passenger side as well. Finally, one more wheel to look at here in the back, great condition. And of course, moving on to the rear of the vehicle, you can see the taillight lenses in equally nice shape, and they do have that nice kind of crystal-like finish there inside the taillight. It shimmers as you move, depending on the light condition. It's a really nice touch in the taillights. You have that chrome trim carrying across the hatch onto the side of the vehicle, and all of your badging to match. 4Matic, of course, referring to the all-wheel drive system fitted, making this a great vehicle for all seasons. And looking at the lower portion, you do have that silver diffuser panel flanked by two narrow yet kind of sleek-looking exhaust pipes there on either side. But next up, let's make our way to the interior, where you'll find a stunning contrast as well. You can see it unlocked as I touched the door handle there. This beautiful contrast of the black higher portion of the dash with that gorgeous, almost beige, cream-colored leather carrying all throughout the rest of the interior. As we look, passenger seat, perfect condition with some really interesting stitching, and same goes for the driver's seat. Minimal wear, just a little bit of wear mark there on the lower bolster, but hardly noticeable. Very comfortable as we sit down inside, and I'll close this door. Nice solid thunk as the door shuts. First things first, it is pretty hot in here, so let's fire it up with the gorgeous start-stop button. It is uniquely attractive. As we can see, fires up without hesitation. Gauge cluster all checks out. As you can see, dash panel in great condition. Looking at the steering wheel, you have that beautiful wood grain paired with the black leather on the areas where you would traditionally grab the wheel. All of the buttons and controls look great. Gauge cluster, as I mentioned, all looks good. If you see any flickering, that's only due to the camera's effect. To the human eye, it looks perfect. Gear selector and your shift paddles there. Wiper controls and your downshift paddle there. Looking at the door card, you do see some more of that gorgeous wooden trim matching the steering wheel and the dash. You have more silver accents here with your heated seat and your seat controls, as well as the stunning Burmeister audio speakers here in the door. They present beautifully, and the sound system is just incredible here in the E-Class, as you would expect from a Mercedes-Benz product. You'll also notice the ambient lighting currently shining bright there. That carries all the way under the dash, onto the door cards, and in the footwells as well. That looks fantastic. It's also above the screen, though it is hard to see that at this moment. Looking at the screen, we do have reverse camera there, as well as some parking aids. And if I access the main menu here, if I could remember how to operate, there we go. So if I make my way over to vehicle, you can see going into lighting settings, I can access my ambient light settings, and you have all of these different combinations that you can work with for your interior. It really kind of customizes to your mood. You can see all of these different multicolor settings, and it looks fantastic in a dark environment. Really, really cool to see, but I'll leave it in purple for now. I think that pairs very, very nicely with the beige interior. Of course, you do have navigation, as you saw, as well as a beautiful stereo, as we mentioned before. Looking here throughout the center console, of course, you have those gorgeous minimalist climate vents there. Here on your center controls, they all present very nicely and function exactly as intended with your climate controls and infotainment controls there. Here under this piano black cover, one touch flips it up, and you do have a couple of phone chargers there, a stow for your key, as well as your cup holders with those Mercedes branded rubber coasters at the bottom. And here with your main infotainment and vehicle control system here, that all looks fantastic. It's a really attractive unit as well. I think it's styled perfectly to match the elegant swooping lines here on the interior. Here just next to me, you do have this double-sided flip open storage compartment, very spacious, with a couple of media inputs and charging points there. And just above my head, lastly, you do have a sunroof. I can slide that cover back manually and then operate the sunroof using this switch above my head. It's all one-touch operable, very smooth, no hesitation, as you can see. And same goes for closing it up, no problems whatsoever. And we'll leave that cover back for now. But next up, let's take a quick look under the hood, where we can see why this is the E400 and why it makes it so special. Okay, so I'm here under the hood of the E400. I apologize, it looks like a storm's rolling in. The wind has picked up a bit, so I'll try to talk a bit louder. But as we can see here under the hood, very, very clean. All of the black plastic panels look great. You can see all of the more intricate connections and detailed areas look nice as well. All of the fender hardware does not appear to be tampered with, which is a great thing to look for when looking at a vehicle. And of course, use that in conjunction with our paint meter readings, pardon me. So here under the hood of the E400, you're going to find a 3-liter turbocharged V6 powertrain. It's going to produce right around 330 horsepower, though it does feel more than that, likely due to the 354 pound-feet of torque available, all the way from 1,600 RPM to 4,000. So for a vast majority of that low end of your rev range, you have just a boatload of torque that, when paired with the very quick transmission, really, really propels this vehicle along. Perfect overtaking, and with this V6 powertrain, you're still going to see around 26 or so mpg on the highway, which is a great spec for daily drivability. Next up, let's make our way to the second row of seating here in the E400. Now, taking a look, very nice condition on all of the seating material here. Door cards are beautiful as well, same styling as the front with that ambient lighting to match. You can see all the carpeting in great shape. And I'm about 6'4", and I have the driver's seat in a very comfortable, luxurious position for me, where I have absolutely no shortage of room. And here, as I hop in the back, you'll see I have plenty of room here, largely thanks to the design of the back of these seats. Mercedes clearly thought of having 4 full-size adults here in the back, or in the cabin. And as you can see, great view of the cockpit there in the front. Very comfortable here in the back, and I also have this drop-down armrest with some cup holders that protrude out the front, as well as some climate controls for myself here. And next up, making a quick walk to the back of the vehicle, one-touch operation is going to lift this tailgate right up. You can see plenty of space here in the back to store your items. You have your original carpeting there, as well as this protective floor mat underneath. And if I lift this, you'll see a couple of hatches here. And I'm just gonna pause the video for a moment and set up the third row of seating available here in the E400. Very interesting to have third row seating in a wagon, but you'll see it's quite interesting, and I'll meet you here in just a moment. Okay, so as you can see, I've deployed the third row of seating. These seats actually do face out the rear of the vehicle. This is not an uncommon feature in a Mercedes E-Class wagon, though some people are not familiar with it, so it's nice to see it here. You can see you do have full seat belts there with the buckles clipped in there, and the seatbelt stowed by those rear windows. You have a power outlet. It's actually quite a nice little space back here. I would not personally be comfortable here at 6'4", but your smaller passengers would have absolutely no problem, especially with this kind of recessed footwell here available just in front of the seats. So very, very cool back here in the back of the E-Class. And very quickly, I'm going to reassemble the rear here, stowing these seats, and then we'll close it out. Okay, so just as easily, I stowed those third row seats down into the floor, and it does not affect your cargo space whatsoever. One touch on this button here, you can either close the tailgate or close and lock the vehicle. Really a gorgeous car, and pretty uncommon to find a wagon, especially in an appealing spec like this. Really looks fantastic, and I hope you find it as interesting as I do. So if you have any further questions related to this gorgeous E400 wagon, please reference the listing at alphacars.com, and there you'll find all of the relevant contact information. Thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your day. We hope to hear from you soon. Thank you from AlphaCars.